Ibrahim Traore, a name that has been making headlines more and more, is the current president of Burkina Faso, a country located in the heart of Africa. He has become a key figure in modern geopolitics by strengthening ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The recent meeting between the two leaders in Moscow was strategic for Putin, who sees Traore as a powerful ally, considering that Burkina Faso is a region rich in natural resources and vital for Russia's growing influence in Africa. At a time of high global tension, with Russia becoming increasingly isolated from the West, any support that Putin can obtain is a valuable asset. But who is Ibrahim Traore, this young leader of only 37 years old, who has become a key figure in the new global geopolitical landscape? Welcome to Life in the Barracks. Ibrahim Traore, a geologist by training and an artillery captain in the Burkinabe army, was born in the interior of Burkina Faso and has had a journey marked by witnessing his country in crisis. Throughout his career, he served in the most conflict-ridden areas of northern Burkina Faso, where he witnessed the advance of terrorism and the persistent misery that plagued the population. Seeing billions of dollars in international aid being poured into the country without concrete results, he began to question things. Why wasn't international aid preventing the collapse of the country? Why were the mineral resources being exploited by foreign companies without benefiting the people of Burkina Faso? With these doubts and growing frustration with Western powers, Traore took a bold step. In September 2022, he led a coup d'etat that overthrew the then president Paul-Henri Damiba. The coup was the result of growing dissatisfaction among the population and increasing support for the idea of breaking the colonial ties that connected Burkina Faso to France and the West. Traore emerged as a symbol of change, and his rise to power was marked by promises of reforms and independence. He began to adopt a confrontational stance toward the foreign military presence, especially the French forces, which had been in the country for decades. Traore expelled the French troops from Burkina Faso, revoked military agreements with France, and nationalized mineral production, signaling his intention to regain control of the country's natural resources for the benefit of the Burkinabe people. With this breakaway stance, the president of Burkina Faso didn't just push the French away, he sought new allies. The rapprochement with Russia, and more specifically with Vladimir Putin, is a clear attempt by Traore to reposition Burkina Faso on the geopolitical chessboard. Russia, in turn, saw in Traore an opportunity to expand its influence in Africa and at the same time secure strategic support on a continent rich in resources and vital to its global interests. During the recent meeting in Moscow, Putin offered support to Traore in the fight against terrorism and the restoration of constitutional order, highlighting the importance of a partnership between the two countries. At the meeting held in Moscow to commemorate the Soviet Union's Victory Day, Ibrahim Traore stood out not only for his presence as the president of Burkina Faso, but also for his critical and analytical stance during conversations with other leaders present, especially with the Brazilian president and the Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro. The international media quickly noticed that Traore showed dissatisfaction and a certain distance regarding the discussions held with these two South American heads of state, which reveals his deep awareness and understanding of the complex political and social situation in South America. As an army captain and a young leader, he has above-average strategic intelligence and analytical ability, being able to see beyond his own continent and understand the dynamics, interests, and risks involved in distant countries such as Brazil and Venezuela. This attitude reinforces the image of a leader who not only acts locally, but also keeps a watchful and critical eye on the global stage, seeking to position Burkina Faso in a more independent way and aligned with its own strategic interests, without blindly following alliances that could compromise the sovereignty or stability of his country. In addition to his turning point in domestic politics, Traoré has also worked to strengthen national security, especially in the face of rebel forces that still operate in various regions of Burkina Faso. His personal security has become a central concern, with armored vehicles being used to protect the president, who is now more reserved and takes strict measures to prevent any kind of attack. Traoré has become so cautious that, according to sources, no one knows exactly where he stays each night, a reflection of his constant fear. Meanwhile, other countries in the region, such as Mali and Niger, have followed a similar path to Burkina Faso, expelling French forces and seeking to strengthen their sovereignty by forming new alliances. Together, these countries have strengthened the so-called Alliance of Sahel States, a coalition that aims to regain control over natural resources and ensure security in the region away from Western influence. At 37 years old, Ibrahim Traoré positions himself as a young leader, determined to change the history of Burkina Faso and Africa. He has stated several times that he is ready to be an ally of both Trump and Putin, demonstrating a pragmatic flexibility in his foreign policy. The question, however, remains: who really is Ibrahim Traoré? Is he the savior of Burkina Faso, capable of leading the country to a prosperous future, or an authoritarian leader who aligns himself with global powers to secure his own hold on power? On the international stage, Traoré has already become a figure of interest, with several nations trying to understand his intentions and his role in the new geopolitical landscape. Some see him as a hero of African sovereignty, while others question his closeness to authoritarian regimes. Traoré's next actions will be decisive for the future of Burkina Faso and also for the future of the Sahel region and Africa's international relations. Life in the barracks keeps you up to date with everything happening in the military world. Leave your like, subscribe, and watch one of the videos appearing on your screen. Forward fighters. See you next time.